Hello, Internet. Welcome to episode 25 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I saw somewhere on YouTube, someone said that you're supposed to move a lot very early in your videos. That's how you get people's attention and draw them in to keep watching. That's why I did that previous thing. I did a costume change, a little inside Verbal Graffiti. I try to film both episodes for the week on the same night, because I do a lot of stand-up, so usually I try to bang them all out. Usually I do it on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I'll spend like Thursday after work editing the episode, which takes a few hours, and then on Saturday and Sunday I'll edit the reels. Those take much longer to edit. That takes like an entire day. Each reel, even though it's 30 seconds, can take upwards of an hour to edit, because I have to find music that's allowed to be played on YouTube that fits the tone of what I'm saying. Then I have to illegally rip clips off of YouTube to put in my YouTube reels. And then I also have to find transitions and make sure the subtitles are what I'm saying, and I slur a lot of my words. So there are a lot of adjustments I have to make to those. So yeah, it takes a lot of time for a video that very, very few people watch, but love of the game. And I do believe in this. So I do believe it will turn into something very, very big. When that happens, who knows? Another thing I would like to mention, I need to stop saying, is that I did watch this documentary by this guy. I think it's called Channel 5. I believe his name is Andrew something. He's got millions of views. I'll put the link somewhere here. He did a video documentary on the Kia Boys in Connecticut. These are teenagers who rough upbringings, who go out and they steal Kias and Hyundais and they ride them around all night, and then they sell them to other people who need them as getaway cars. And they'll sell the Kia for only $50 or $100. So they're risking their freedom for very, very little money, but it's wild how they do it. So I guess the Kias, they're very easy to break into. You break the window, then you have the driver, the driving wheel. You just have a screwdriver, you jam it in there, you pull off the plastic piece, then you take a USB-C cord, you put it in the ignition, you turn it, and it starts right away. And I guess Kia's done an update. So if you have a Kia, and the reason why I bring this up is because, let's be real, a lot of Verbal Graffiti viewers are not driving luxury cars. So I imagine a lot of you are driving Hyundais, Toyotas, Kias. So this really pertains to you. So they have an update. So go to your dealership and they'll put a new system in. So the cars are not as easy to start up by one of the Kia boys. But what these boys are doing, it's a lot of fun. It makes me very thankful, or what's the word? Gracious that I have, or grateful that I have parents that love me, and sisters and a brother that cared about me, and I grew up in a safe neighborhood, so that I didn't get involved in hijacking cars at a very young age. But I will say, part of me looks at what these kids are doing, where they're hanging out the passenger window as their boys driving, waving back and forth on suburban roads, and it does look like a hell of a ride. And man, I'm thankful I wasn't doing that when I was a kid, but part of me is like, that would have been a lot of fun. But you live. I hope these boys, I hope they get their life together, because a lot of them don't have good upbringings, and we're rooting for them here at Verbal Graffiti. But go check out the documentary. It's a little long, but if you're in the Northeast area, it's very entertaining. The guy does it. He does all the sides. He has a good personality, much more so than myself. And I think you'll find it entertaining and informative, which that's what you want out of a documentary. All right. Enough fluffing up someone who's not here. Let's get into our episode, what we're talking about here, Verbal Graffiti. This one, not much talk, comes from our mildly vandalized, I'll put it here. Does this count? It's a birthday card that was a 1-year-old birthday card, but then The poster here on Reddit made it into a 10-year-old birthday card. I'm just assuming that's the age of his kid. Does this count? Absolutely, it counts. Not only does it count, I commend you for what you did. This card shows ingenuity, creativity, thoughtfulness. How many fathers out there will give their son just a card without making the corrections on the age? The Kia boys, they're probably not even getting a card to begin with. So the fact that you bought a card, changed it with a magic marker to the correct age of your son, and I'm assuming your son is 10, thumbs up for you. Not only is this a card, but this becomes a family heirloom, right? Like every other birthday card is going to be tossed within 48 hours in the garbage. The garbage man's going to take it away. Your card is going to live in it's going to be infamous. It's going to live on. Your family's going to tell stories about this every single birthday for years, decades to come. Remember the 10-year-old card? Remember that? And this ain't a cheap card either. I mean, you got Disney characters on it. You have the pop-up Fraley thing in the middle. My guess is that's at least a $7 birthday card. So good for you. Kudos to you. You're Father of the Year nominee to this guy right here. The Kia boys can use a father figure like yourself. This does bring up a larger point, though. I have a vendetta against Hallmark, and the reason so is because they put the price of their card on the back of the card. So when you give that wedding or that birthday card to the person, that person knows how much you spent on them. You can't scratch out the price that's on the back because it's like into the card, the ink. That's always frustrated me. And like I mentioned earlier, those birthday cards, they get thrown out within 48 hours. So I've refused to pay more than $3 on any card that I buy. And sometimes I don't even buy a card. I went to a wedding. I won't say his name, but I just wrote my name on the envelope and I put the money in the envelope. No card. Because let's be real, the card doesn't matter. It's the contents inside the card are what matter. And the contents is not the loving message you write inside the card. It's the money. The money is what counts. So I put the money in the envelope. I put $100 because I didn't have a date. So I think $100 for a wedding. That's the nice point where they're not going to talk shit about you. It's like $100. Like that's like you're not the super high and you're not the super low. You just want, you're the median. So like you good for you. I also had another wedding I went to a few years ago. My cousin, who's in her mid-20s, her age doesn't matter. Wedding cards are wild. It's very hard to find a wedding card that costs less than $10 because they're all glittery now. And it's like you're fucking walking into an arts and crafts class when you walk by the wedding card section in the grocery store. Like you almost need a box now. You need to like send it UPS. Like the envelopes aren't wide enough for how much stuff is going on in the card. And I was like, I'm not spending $8. I hardly ever see this cousin. So what I did is I bought a Halloween card because it was off season. So it was a 99-cent card. 99-cent card, Halloween, orange, black. Again, I put $100 in, and guess what? Couple months later, I was on the phone, or my mom was on the phone with my cousin, and they loved it. They laughed. It became memorable. Remember our stupid, funny cousin who gave us a Halloween card for our wedding? I became memorable. I'm a legend now in that family because of what I did. Because I'm cheap, but I also gave enough money where they wouldn't look down upon me. So you actually, with a magic marker, changing the contents of the card to make it correct? Dude, who's a better daddy than you are, daddy? Gotta stop saying, I do not have a segment. I've run out of segments. Okay, so one day a week, I will lay down on my bed for an hour, no technology, think of jokes for stand-up. Then the next day, same process, but for an hour, I think of content for verbal graffiti, and I go back and forth. And I'm out of funny. I will think of something, a new segment, like those sketches I do. I will think of one. I'm moving my hands too much. But I was out filming and I did run into Verbal Graffiti's #1 fan, and he had some words of advice he wanted to give all of us. So I let the camera run, and here is what he said. What's that?
Dr. Reggie.
Oh.
I ain't got food. It's soaking wet. It's on my feet. My shoes soaking wet. Try to look at the top. My ID number, 187-013-566. Still live 7 Rockwood Avenue, Newton, Connecticut, 06513. You contact my wife right now, see me here, you follow me. She can't help. 495 434-6206. You can hit her up. This up 15 years, we've been checking a lot of Weathersfield in Massachusetts. That's where my money is. U.S. Department of Treasury. Last month, it was $1,126 from Social Security. I didn't even know I was active for a gross total of $52,718. Never got 2 cents. Stimulus check, $7,802. From Obama. My father. This I do not want.
And that was Verbal Graffiti's #1 fan. I like to think that all of our viewers look somewhat similar to him. Hey, if I'm out on the street filming and you get in front of my camera and start speaking nonsense, you best believe I'm going to keep it rolling and use that footage. No apologies. And since we're on a no apology tour here, I had a friend of mine ask me if I smoke cigarettes. No, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. And yes, I do believe that makes me a better person than you. I enjoy breathing without assistance. Go suck a fat one. All right, with all those disclaimers out of the way, I gotta stop using the word disclaimer. Let's get to the next post. This one comes from the C Reddit page. I need advice. 10K charges from a strip club. I got extremely drunk at a bachelor party, been there, this weekend. Went to a strip club, woke up with 4 charges totaling over $10,000 in charges to my Amex. It's hard for me to remember, but I think I signed for at least 2 of these charges. I requested itemized receipts, which they provided, good for them, but they aren't signed copies. I'm waiting back to see if they send signed copies back. My questions: do I have any leg to stand on if I dispute these through Amex? Has anyone been able to negotiate these charges down with a strip club? Will my future wife be able to see these charges in the future if we were to buy a house? Well, good luck buying a house in this market. This reminds me of a story, and we'll get to my response. I went to a wedding in my mid-20s. It was a destination in a different state, and I didn't have $10,000, nor do I have $10,000 now to spend at a strip club. So I had to share a hotel room with 3 other of my friends. So we had 4 guys, 2 beds. None of us had dates. We're all losers, and I've been single most of my life. Still am single. So 2 of us, 2 beds. So we had the wedding. We had the reception. We come back to the hotel. We party. We come back to our room. 4 of us are there. We're getting into bed, and I ordered one of the porno movies on the hotel TV. And I was in my bed next to my friend, and I was winking myself off. And they were kind of all awake, and they were kind of like saying what I was doing was wrong, and I shouldn't have been doing that, and how disgusting I was. But hey, I was at a wedding. I was a horny. I ordered a porno, so I was winking myself off. And he kept like bothering me, telling me to stop. But I'm a go-getter, so I did my thing. I finished. We all went to bed, and then the next morning, under the front door of our hotel room, there was a receipt. I was looking it over, and it said I had ordered 2 pornos, not 1. And this made me very, very angry because I was very I was drunk, but I knew I had ordered one video. Like, what psycho orders 2 pornos at a hotel? So I went down to the front desk, and this was probably around checkout time, probably 10 a.m. So I'm there disputing the charge to the front desk lady while everyone from the wedding party is like in the lobby watching me as I'm having a loud verbal disagreement with the front desk, yelling at them, going, no, I ordered 1 porno, not 2, 1. And I kept banging on the table to the dismay of everybody. But I did get the charge down to 1 porno. 1 win for the B-Man. So yeah, you should you should dispute the charges, because this does happen. If there's anything Donald Trump showed Americans, is that having no shame is a superpower. So have no shame here, because strippers do this all the time. The way I see it is, you're at a bachelor party out of town. The strippers know you're out of town, so you'll never be there again. So yeah, they're going to try to upcharge you more dances or private hand jobs than you actually got, because they know you're never going to be back in town. So you're not going to dispute the charges. So they probably do this all the time. So yeah, I'd say call your Amex, tell them you have a leg to stand on. They might not knock the charges down, but you do have a case here. As long as you're like, hey, I ordered 2, not 4. I think there's a good chance Amex will take your side and lower the price of the charge, as long as you're not a strip club guy. If you're going to strip clubs every month, it's probably not going to work. But if you only do this at bachelor parties once or twice every year or 2, I think Amex will be on your side. And if not, you were able to spend $10,000. So like, whatever. It's, you clearly make money. This isn't going to bankrupt you. As for your wife, though, and worrying about her, never marry a lady or a babe who won't allow you to watch porn or go to strip clubs. That's the number one sign that she is a wet blanket and she's not going to be fun to marry. Because if you marry someone who doesn't like you going to strip clubs, that means you can never go to a bachelor party or do a boys' weekend ever again. Because she's going to be paranoid and she's going to keep calling. And when she finds out you go and you didn't even do anything like touchy, like, that's not cheating. That is not cheating. And in fact, that she thinks that's cheating, that means she's wearing the pants in the relationship. Like, any guy who's not allowed to watch porn or go to strip clubs because their wife says it's wrong, I view that as like your wife has taken your ball sack and stuffed them in her designer handbag that you bought for her. And you don't want to be in that situation. So you should call this wedding off right now, or at least have the conversation that, like, hey, I am allowed to go to strip clubs. I am allowed to watch smut. It is not cheating. It is not cheating. Let me say that one more time. It is not cheating. And if you go to a hotel room, 1 porno, not 2, 1. Till next episode, go suck a fat one.